see it. The winds lashing Hopetown on Great Abaco there in the northwestern Bahamas here. People have definitely battened down the hatches and moored and double moored their watercraft here in hopes of riding out the most powerful storm on the planet right now. It is September 1st. We are still in the heart of hurricane season in the Atlantic, and this is evidence of a powerful Category 5 hurricane. Winds now in the last hour or so updated to 175 mile per hour sustained winds with Dorian as it bearing down across the northwest Bahamas. So all the Abaco Islands as well as Grand Bahama Island,
that's crazy.
They are going to be directly hit by the center of the storm, which means they'll get the most powerful parts of the hurricane, the eye wall, and perhaps even the eye. A temporary respite of calm comes over before the other violent backside of the eye wall comes through this area. And here's the thing, this thing is going to slow down to a brisk walk. That's the forecast before it starts moving away from the Bahamas. So once we're in the thick of this, we're going to be in this for maybe more than a day. Imagine more than 24 hours of a Category 5 hurricane hitting this island. Or islands, in the middle of the Atlantic, so a huge concern. And the water, by the way, is some of the warmest we have in the Atlantic. Hence, it's not a super surprise that Dorian's winds have increased from 150 to 155 to 160 to now 175 miles per hour. And that's moments before it started to make landfall there and the Abaco Islands there in the northwestern Bahamas. You see just off to the west of that, that's the Florida Peninsula. Yeah, things are calm right now. If you have not completed your preparations, prepare for coastal flooding, prepare for heavy rain, prepare for power outages. Do we think we'll have a direct hit in South Florida? No, we don't expect that. It's not totally off the table, but we're going to have impacts. And the impact can be just as bad as having a direct hit of a hurricane as well. So there's a good chance you will lose power, but you got to make sure you have a safe place. But look at the forecast track. It kind of parallels the coast of Florida and Georgia and the Carolinas, potentially making a landfall in North Carolina or potentially even staying off the coast. But the bottom line is impacts. I know here in Charleston, people are preparing already for impacts, and it's mainly going to be flooding here. In fact, we've had flooding with hurricanes hundreds of miles away and never even getting within 200 miles, and you've had flooding. So with the close approach to Dorian in the forecast, yeah, we will have flooding for sure. In fact, the City Hall of Charleston already being boarded up right now. So that's it for here in Charleston. We'll talk more about that right
crazy.
now. Let's go back to the studio now and check in with
This is going to be a devastating storm.
Dr.
Yeah, Paul, thank you very much. I mean, Hurricane Dorian, extremely dangerous Category 5 Hurricane Dorian is assaulting now the Bahamas with winds rapidly increasing at Great Guiana Key, and that is going to be the case. As you can see on this picture, a nearly perfectly symmetrical hurricane with winds of tornadic force in the eye wall is now closing in on some of these regions. We are seeing these numbers go up, and they will rapidly go up very soon as they are about ready to get inside of the eye wall at areas like Marsh Island. And this is something to consider very carefully, or excuse me, Marsh Harbor. Right now, the hurricane force winds are restricted to the eye wall, right in here. But again, it is inside of here where the wind gusts may be over 200 miles per hour. So you can imagine that. You've got tropical storm force winds out here, and then almost immediately those winds will ramp up beyond belief into a place never seen before, perhaps in many locations on the planet for that matter. Winds over 200 miles per hour in gusts are likely to be moving through parts of the Bahamas at a slow pace. At a slow pace. This is not going to be an eye wall that lasts 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes. It is an eye wall that for some along these northern Bahama Islands, the Abaco Islands and Grand Bahama, some of these kinds of winds with wind gusts over 150 miles per hour may last for hours, with storm surge perhaps over 20 feet. Unimaginable destruction, I think, will occur over these regions, unfortunately. But here we go. Let's talk, what about Florida? We've got tropical storm watches and warnings out for the likelihood of tropical storm force wind gusts. But I also want to put out that there is a chance still that we will see hurricane force winds along the immediate shoreline of Florida. This is a product produced by the National Weather Service. It is called kind of the worst case scenario, so it's the not so likely, maybe not the most likely, but still possible kind of wind that you would expect potentially on the Florida coast. And that would be winds over 74 miles per hour. We have to watch out for that kind of weather moving in. It's not maybe the most likely scenario, but it is certainly a possibility. And we'll be mindful of all the updates going forward. Stay tuned for all the latest.
Do you sit in a chair all day long? Does your lower back